What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Verse Crypto channel. We got another awesome live stream today. It's been a minute, but haven't gotten into PDI and all the other PulseChain altcoins for a little long time. And the best part about it is, most you guys have been following the charts. PulseChain is absolutely pumping. Richard Heart's fighting the SEC. Green candles everywhere. Everyone's friends. Well, for right now. And we got so much more bullish news, but this is a special live stream because I got to bring back one of my really good friends. He's a PDI OG. He's always on his grind all the freaking time. I want to welcome to the stage my boy, Zach. What's up, brother? How we doing today?
Hey, Chris. How's it going, man?
It's going good, man. It's good to have you, dude. It's been a minute, and man, dude, it feels like the PDI stuff was almost a lifetime ago, So how's everything going with you, man?
Everything's going really well. I spent a bit of time in New York City recently over the summer, and then now, after these Christmas holidays, I am in Thailand. I'm going to probably be here until the summer again, and then go back to New York and probably start the cycle all over every year. Thailand's been really cool. The weather's beautiful, obviously. There's other people into crypto here. I've met up with other Hexicans, people from the PulseChain community. I've had, just people reaching out, knowing that I'm out here from different countries like Vietnam and things like that, because I'm going to be traveling over there. So really, like, the community has been really cool just to see them like reaching out and, wanting to do meetups and stuff like that. So I think there's like 2 or 3 other people, right? So I would make like a 4th person that's in PulseChain, that's in Phuket Island in Thailand, right? So that's like a very small, concentrated little place, right? But there's 4 of us here that I know of so far, and others not far away. So I think that's just like super, super cool. Yeah. So just like the camaraderie and just the fact that I could be here, because of PulseChain, like this is amazing, right? I never thought a year ago that I'd be sitting in Thailand today, but look, here I am, right?
Yeah, man. Hey, dude, you're on the grind all the time, like I said. And man, last time I checked, you were in Connecticut, crushing with PRS. Now you're over in Thailand, still active on Twitter, still doing all this really good stuff. And it's pretty impressive that you're able to travel so much and still work as hard as you do. So, hey, man, hats off to you, man, because you're one of the few people that can live that type of life. So since we last spoke, PulseChain, it was hit hard by the SEC lawsuit. A lot of FUD in the air. Things were pretty crazy, and a lot of people wanted exits. So, what do you think about the recent news about Richard Heart fighting the SEC?
Oh man, this is so awesome, right? So like a lot of FUD that I received when I would go on Spaces, we did these things called Battle of the Blockchains. I don't know if you remember that or if you were there for that, but we teamed up with this guy E. He was like a part of Solana and a few other blockchains, but he was no maxi at all. Super welcoming, and he wanted to basically set us up to go head to head against other blockchains, right? And to see like what kind of like shit we could stir up, kind of. I know E was doing it just for the laughs. He wanted to see us cry a little bit and see other people like whimper. But at the beginning, we kind of all like made fun of each other. We're like, you're not real DeFi, you're not real DeFi, like all this stuff. But like it kind of brought people together in a way. At the end, we kind of learned about all the different advantages and stuff like that of different blockchains. Like if there are some, obviously there are good and bad things about all different blockchains, right? They're not just all bad if they're not PulseChain. But anyways, hopefully we got some of those people to see the light, right? And hopefully they didn't miss out on these big run-up that we just had recently, because I know that you're probably paying attention to a lot of this more than I am, but the OA, or like the Sacrifice wallet, is buying up the Hex and the PulseChain, and that's just incredible to me. I see a bunch of money being bridged over. That's like super, super bullish. And honestly, it's coming at just the right time. This is like right before the Bitcoin halving is about to start. Like the Bitcoin ETF just got dropped. Like this is all like perfect sequential order for like the FOMO to begin, basically.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And those was it the Battle of the Blockchains? I know a lot of people got their eyes on PulseChain from that. And believe it or not, Trent, my best friend, who's the other half of the verse, he actually went on one of those. He's like, dude, I was on Zach's Battle of the Blockchain. I was going out with Solana guys. I was putting them in their place. Like he was calling me out for like an hour. He was like, bro, I absolutely smoked them. Let's freaking go.
Yeah, they couldn't tell us nothing, man. It's like, you know, they have, you know, quick transactions and stuff like that and cheap fees, you know, but that's like, it's like a, I don't know, it's like it's not real, right? It's like they keep inflating the token to keep the fees cheap. They're giving tokens out to influencers to dump on people. Like, you know, it's all, you know, there's no VCs in PulseChain. That's the beautiful thing. It's like, you know, Richard owns 90 or 80 or 90% of the tokens. They're not going to be able to get all those tokens to be able to, you know, give to influencers and do this and that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to unpack that real quick before we move on to the next thing. But Zach brought up a very good point about, you know, VC funded tokens, because everyone says there's a second cycle curse. In reality, not necessarily. The reason why the price of like any layer one blockchain does not supersede or reach its first all-time high in its first bull market run is mainly because of the token dilution, the tokens being dumped out in the market. If you click market cap on the price, you'll see basically like a little hump and then a bigger hump. And the market cap did exceed the original market cap. It was just there's more tokens in circulation. Now here's the power behind PulseChain. The supply is always going to get smaller. And turns out Richard's buying stuff behind the scenes. And I'll give you guys the inside scoop on that at the end. I'll give you guys good stuff at the end because I don't want to show all the cards right now. But because that's happening, when we have another cycle, which I think we do, because everyone's saying there's not going to be a second cycle, that's when you're going to see PulseChain absolutely explode again. And you're actually going to see this in play that it will actually supersede its original all-time high. So that's the main point what Zach is unpacked. And I love that you put that out there. Now, let's get into the me and the cheese, stuff that the people want to hear. So we go way back to the PDI days, even though that was like only 2 months ago. It felt like a lifetime ago.
I know.
Since we had the emergence of a developer called Maria, what do you think about Maria, and what do you think is the actual? And do you actually think Maria is the actual Atropa developer?
So yeah, Maria, I think Maria is like a stage name that they use. I'm not sure if that Maria Rahel person was ever real. I never really did Google that name. But yeah, no, I think it's just kind of like a stage name or just like a moniker to use. I think we did figure out who the dev was a while ago, which was James Osborne. And somebody posted in the BFF chat here just a little bit ago that it's like a forward from the Maria dev. And it looks like she was saying something about, it says James Osborne maximalism. So it looks like they may have confirmed, you know, who they were probably, but I don't want to confirm or deny that. I guess it's just in the chat. Anybody can go look at that.
James Osborne maximalism. That is crazy. You know, that's the thing about the whole Maria thing, because when we got to the end of the PDI pegging, everyone was going crazy. They're like, oh my gosh, there's something going on with like the Lido DAO contract. There's something going on with the Maker DAO. And we're having this little like really interesting excuse me. Basically, we're trying to solve this mystery. And then we got to the end of the mystery, we had Maria pop up. I gotta be honest, not a lot of people were about it. She was talking some sort of code. I remember at one point I was looking at it and she was like, "Hail Satan." I know it's a troll. But I'm just saying, like, when I saw that, I was like, what the heck is going on here? So Hollow had a very interesting theory. Some of the stuff that Maria was saying was like a code for liquidity pool pairings. Do you have any knowledge of this?
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Say that one more time.
So basically, Hollow had a theory that on Twitter Spaces that when Maria would like say stuff in the chat, it was like directions for people to do certain actions on the blockchain, like pair up this token with that token. Do you think that's the case?
So lately, more so for sure. I mean, maybe she's been trying to tell us what to do for a long time, but I think that like before, it was a lot more obscure and hard to follow. You know, maybe more like maybe more aggressive a little bit at times. And I think more nowadays, it's like much less, much more easy to read. I'm actually in the IRC chat now. I've gotten in just yesterday or the day before. And I'm, you know, conversating, you know, she's replying. just the actual conversation, right? It's not just like this random mumble jumbo. Sometimes it is, right? When there's not a lot of people in the chat or whatever, she'll kind of go off on a mumbo jumbo rant and just kind of say whatever that kind of doesn't make sense to most people. But I think there is a rhyme and reason to it. I just don't think that we have discovered that yet. I know that she always talks about the chat logs as being really important for the future, and there's going to be like a chat log token. And I just think that the chat logs are going to have something to do with like the future layer 2 that's coming out called Dysnomia. There's a whole lot of stuff that she's been saying, telling us to do, right? And one of those latest things was to buy BFF, right? So that's pretty much why when I came to you that day and I was like, hey, Kris, we need to buy some BFF because I think Maria's trying to tell us something right now. At that point, I think more people, since, I think it really caught on at that point. People were like, okay, like, things are kind of like becoming a little bit more clear. I think she's like choosing BFF, and she's been saying that she's like choosing it as like the entryway to this new layer 2 ecosystem that she's building called Dysnomia.
Right. No, I definitely, and I just want to show everyone here BFF. So Zach actually told me about what was going on with BFF down here, and don't get me wrong, we had a lot of 4-and-4 tokens that didn't turn out too well, but this one was a very interesting one, and this was really caught my interest. And I think Zach, you're on to something. But essentially, this thing's been pumping. It has a pretty low liquidity between Wrap Pulse. But then it also has a big pairing between something called, I believe this is No Nuke.
Yes.
So No Nukes. This is just so funny. $282,000 of liquidity. So in my mind, we got some sort of trapped liquidity in this ecosystem. Zach, from what we see with these liquidity pairs, what do you think's going on?
So I think that she moves. There's certain tokens that have certain, like, they're built off certain contracts that do different things, right? So, and honestly, like, what you should do in the future, we'll set you up with another stream to kind of go over like just Maria stuff with like maybe me and somebody else, because there are other guys that are in certain groups that just are wizards when it comes to Maria, and I just kind of like read what they tell me and like learn, like, try to follow along. But yeah, so basically, like, there's different contracts that these coins are built from, and some of them have different functions, right? So some of them are safe with like no mint functions, and they can't, like, the supply is never changed, and some of those either Maria holds or Maria doesn't hold. Some of them have mint functions built into them for early adopters of the Atropa ecosystem, right? So some people that were early adopters have their wallet addresses written into a contract to where, like, if somebody chooses to run like a public mint function, like, one token will go to them and then one token will go to Maria. And so I think it's just kind of like a bit of playing around with seeing how people react, right? So if your wallet is in a contract and you're getting a token minted to you, like, are you going to be benevolent with it? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to pump another 414? Are you going to pair liquidity? I think that she's kind of trying to watch and observe to see like who are like the good players in the ecosystem and things like that.
Right.
And then some of them are just, mintable by her, or some of them are actually just mintable by the public in general. Don't go to anybody, but just the public. So like MV, I know I'm actually guilty of shilling MV when it first launched because I thought it was something that would be great. But yeah, no, it turns out there's like an actual public mint function that just anybody can run at any time, as long as they pay the gas fee, right? So like MV is like a special case, right? So we all thought, oh, like MV sucks or whatever, right? But actually it kind of doesn't suck, because now that we like know what is going on here, you can kind of think of MV as like a stable coin, right? So MV is a stable coin that stays stable to the gas price, right?
Yeah.
So it's only as valuable as it costs gas to mint it, right? So if gas goes down a little bit, you can mint some, then it goes back up to the gas price, and then nobody wants to mint it anymore because it costs more than gas. So yeah, so it's like there's little things like that that are just pretty nifty, I guess, when it comes to the way that these coins were launched and all these different contracts that there are. But yeah, just recommend it to everybody. Just try to be very careful. I mean, not many people know how to read these contracts, but there are a few groups that I'm in. One is the Grillionaires group, but but basically the admins of this group have compiled information on all these different like key contract. I'm going to call them like the mother contract, basically. One is called like the King DAO. One is called something else. I forget what the names of them are, but they give descriptions over like pretty much like why each of these contracts exist and what the functions are and things like that. So yeah, definitely recommend people go and look for those groups basically and try to read as much more information as they can. I'll try to post some stuff on Twitter just so people are more aware of like all these different contracts and stuff like that and what they're up to.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. It seems like it's just a big game, like a game of how this ecosystem is being built out. And when I first got into this stuff, I noticed that one token would pump, another token would pump, and what I did from a strategy point of view is like, all right, I'm going to forecast which is the next token, because when Sonny laid it out, I feel like that's when people start to really realize what this thing was. Because at first, everybody was just like, why is there so many different tokens with different names, and we have no idea what's going on? And then when Sonny understand liquidity pools, I feel like that's when everything just clicked, and we're like, okay, now we know what's going on. And it's just really interesting to see how we have new tokens come in the future. We're seeing this BFF pump, and it goes on to my next question. So based off of what's happened with BFF, do you have a gut feeling that we might see something happen with the PDI and Atropa ecosystem very soon?
Yeah, definitely. So we've definitely seen all this craziness obviously with the BFF. But like, yeah, like there is like a reason to it, right? So the reason why BFF is pumping first and foremost is because there's like a plan behind it, right? So at first she was just like, buy BFF, right? And then she kind of gave instructions after that, right? So she was just like, okay, now that we have like a bit of a community behind this thing, like I don't want anybody to sell more than one token per day, right? So that was kind of like these like ground rules that were set for like the whales that got in early. And basically she said like if we follow these instructions, that it'll be like really, really good publicity for us in the future, right? So people will be looking back and seeing like, oh wow, like these top whales, BFF, like they don't sell more than one, like, and we could wreck the price, right? So some people have like 50 tokens, they could just take it to zero. But it's not happening, right? So we have like this big community effort to basically hold the line. And once we get to a certain price target, right, which Maria has set a price target for us of $8,000, right, per token, per BFF. It's like it's probably a little over a 2x from here. I forget where we're at. Oh my God, we're at $3,800 right now. Holy shit, we're almost 4,000. Oh my God. So I went to bed last night. It was like $2,500. Anyways, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, $8,000 is our price target, right? So once we hit 8,000, Maria has over 100 tokens, right? So she's going to basically pair up a bunch of pretty much all of her BFF tokens. She's going to pair into liquidity, right? So she's going to put like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars into liquidity pools with BFF, and then she's going to market buy Teddy Bear, right, with her remaining BFF, right? So Teddy Bear is going to go to the moon, right? That's the end result of all this, and then we're going to have another price floor for BFF, right? So the community is also going to assist in her liquidity pairing adding, right? So basically we'll choose projects that we are that we're liking, basically things that are safe, things that we want to do well in the future, right? So we'll kind of like anybody who's a whale in BFF will choose. I'm personally going to choose PRS. Obviously, people know that's my favorite project. I'm going to pair PRS to BFF, and then I'm going to purchase PRS with BFF, right? So that's kind of like the lineage right there. So it's going to pump. And so she's letting everybody know that's what she's doing. She's going to do that with Teddy Bear. She's also going to do that with other tokens that she hasn't named yet. I think she did name one other one that she was going to personally pump, and that was Hegemony. I'm not. It's weird token symbols. I'm not sure.
Hegemony,
it's
okay.
Arabic language or something else, but Hegemony was the one that she said was going to be next, and then she said she'll pump that and hold it until the Zurich token has like a use case in her little layer 2.
Okay. So great explanation. I absolutely love it. I'm registering. I'm just thinking the background. But Wow, that's crazy because I actually own one of these tokens and I was just sitting there chilling and now I'm scared to sell it. I don't want to mess it up with aim for anybody. But
Yeah, so like my idea is like once we get to 8K, like that's the whole idea, right? To get there and then to add liquidity, right? So like hopefully, you know, if the top holders can just all kind of coordinate on this, which it's happening so far, obviously, look at the price.
mhm.
We get to 8K, we all load up liquidity. That should create a new price floor, right? So if we just hold, that's the new floor for people to buy at, right? And so people are not going to be wrecked on slippage anymore at that point, like because you know the liquidity is getting so thin. You know, there's probably a lot of slippage to be had when it gets to that 8K mark. And also Maria's been helping us pump this whole time, right? So we went from $1,000 yesterday to $2,000 just because of her putting in money with her 414 wallet. So that's all verifiable. And then
Wow.
she told us last night, she's like, if we can get to 2,500, she's like, I'll put another $60,000 in. And we were like, holy
Whoa.
shit. Yeah. So we ended up getting there, and she didn't put the money in yet. Right. So, but she's going to. So I'm letting everybody know right now on this stream, like she has not pumped BFF again yet. And she's trying to get it to 8,000. Right. So just put that in the back of your mind. She has yet to put that second phase of money in.
Dude, she's been living up to, like, this is a token she's definitely been keeping her word on. And here's just some of my thoughts just going through my head. So this gets into levels because if you trace PDI to Atropa, then you go down to tsfi and down, and then it goes into levels. And to me, it seems like she's building another level within this entire ecosystem. Because if you trace down, I think you have to go through 4 or 5 tokens. So I think this is like like I'll call this level 5 when you're going down like this pyramid
Yeah.
starting at PDI. Now, it seems like she's trying to build this final level, but it's going to take a lot of moves to get into that because you have to go through so many tokens. And so, with her building this next level, it's probably a way to not only make PDI more liquid and to drive more volume through it, but it's also to bring in a loyal base community to really build the foundation. And then you have that other token. I'm not going to even try to pronounce it, but that sounds like level 6, and then level 7 is probably going to be like Zurich. Zach, what's your thoughts on my analysis there?
No, I think your analysis is pretty close, honestly. And I would be like silly to say that I really know what's going on. So,
Yeah.
you know, your guess is as good as mine, honestly. And that's what's so cool about this, right? It's like the whole speculation behind it. You know, she is being a little bit obscure still, right? So that's kind of like not letting everybody in, right? So it's like if she was just like, yep, this is what's happening, here's our white paper, just being clear about everything, it's like all these people would just jump in, you know, not listen to the rules. You know, these are all like all the people that are in BFF right now are people that are just been dedicated observing the Atropa logs. We do what she says, you know, like we're following the instructions because we know what the game plan is, right? So recently she's been really, really clear about like what is the whole deal behind Atropa? Like, why are we here, right? And actually, somebody from the community, I just saw this yesterday, and I don't know how the hell I just saw this. Somebody
Right.
interviewed Maria. Somebody interviewed him, or like,
What?
and it was in the IRC chat though. So like, there's a whole Telegram, right? There's a whole Telegram channel that's just like the Atropa logs. That's just dedicated to the interview between this person, Nicole, and Maria. So it's Nicole asking Maria questions in like interview form, and it's all there, right? And so they go over like what's Atropa for? What is the whole point, right? But the whole point is to get the stable coins to be $1, right? So that's literally the freaking point here, guys. Like the whole point of this is to get our copied over coins to reach parity with their Ethereum counterparts. Okay, taking
Right.
liquidity from Ethereum, bringing it here to PulseChain. That's what's going on. This whole thing doesn't work unless there's about, I think Maria said it in the interview, that we need about $3 to $4 billion in total value locked in the Atropa ecosystem, and then we will have $1 PDI.
That makes sense now. That
Yep.
makes sense because, long story short, let's just, all right, before I lose this thought,
Mm-hmm.
from this move alone, we've already got about 200K in liquidity. Last time I saw this thing was only sitting at about like 10 or 15 before it blew up. So
Mm-hmm.
the reason why BFF is coming into play is to drive volume and get liquidity through the Tropa ecosystem. So I think the level theory that I was talking about is correct. And I also do think that this is probably something I'll probably do as my contribution because I've been lazy recently. I need to draw a diagram showing the web from these and showing the pairings. And I guarantee you, if we go through this entire diagram, we'll see this pyramid coming down because the original one was great, but it didn't really have that structured form that was clear,
Right.
that was completely clear. As for the interview, was there any sort of like coded terms, or was it just straightforward, the dev just saying how it is?
Just saying how it is, but she was kind of like a little not aggressive, but just like wouldn't answer certain questions or just would only answer them in the way that she wanted to answer them. Right. So like sometimes not exactly clear, but definitely like to the point, I guess, and just moving on when she wanted to move on and things like that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'll send you I'll send you the link. You can post it on your Twitter for people your followers, you know, so they can all see that if they want to read the interview and things like that. So you'll be able to. I'll give that to you.
Okay. Yeah. No. I mean, yes, definitely send it to me. Sorry, I'm just in shock right now because originally going into this, I thought I was like, all right, we're gonna do a little breakdown, Maria. But bro, you're just blowing my mind left and right. Because I'll be really honest with you. When you sent over the group with BFF, I was sitting there. I was just like, I mean, it's cool coin to speculate, but I'm not really sure if this thing's gonna turn into a thing. And then 2 days ago, I look at the price; it's at $2,000. And then Trent calls me. He's like, and he's the one who wanted to go in hard, so he was really pushing it because our investments are together. He's like, bro, did you see BFF? I told you it's going to $2,000. I'm like, hey man, Zach was right. Zach was right. I'll admit when I'm wrong, but that is so fascinating. Now, let's talk about the teddy bear connection because that's a big piece that you put out there when it comes to creating liquidity between teddy bear. So, from my understanding, 15% of teddy bear is paired up with, I believe it was Atropa. And then Teddy Bear is becoming the premium meme coin on the PulseChain eco network. On top of that, even Crypto Banter knows about this. That is huge.
Right.
He knows about Teddy Bear, and he probably doesn't even understand the Atropa ecosystem. So do you think that Maria is doing this pairing between, what was the token we were just talking about? BFF between Teddy Bear because of the community's love for the Teddy Bear token?
So I think that she's talked about BFF as like the entryway into the layer one, and then when basically that like you create a life form by holding a BFF, basically, or that BFF becomes a life form when the software is launched. I think that those were the words that she had said. So Teddy, she said, is like the meme coin for the layer one, right, of Atropa. So that's like where the entry point where people come to, you know, find out what Atropa is. Basically, they'll probably do that through Teddy Bear, right? And then in terms of like the Dysnomia layer 2 ecosystem, which is maybe a game or something with life forms in it and monsters and things like this. Interesting. I wish I knew more, really, but this is kind of how it's been described, right? Like a game with monsters and things like this. But like the tokens are like life forms, basically, in this ecosystem, right? So yeah, Teddy is basically the way that people find out about the 414, I think, because that's got the mass adoption. It's got the great meme ability, you know, Teddy Bear, who doesn't love that?
Right.
And it's also got the biggest freaking community, right? And it's like number one on Dex Screener all the time for volume and trade, like how many trades it gets per day. I mean, he was even over PulseChain in terms of volume, I think, in the last couple of weeks before we did our big run up. So that's just like super, super impressive. Anybody looking at a Dex, you know, they're going to think that Ethereum is going to be the number one traded token, right? Or some kind of stable coin or whatever. No, that was Teddy Bear. So yeah, that's like the entryway, right? People find Teddy Bear, they find 414 eventually, right? And so if they pair up BFF to Teddy Bear, people are gonna be like, oh, what's this BFF thing? Then that they're gonna be like more levels deep, right? They're gonna be deeper into the system. They're gonna notice this layer 2. They're gonna find this game potentially when it's launched. Like, who knows what's gonna happen later on? But I think that's the whole idea, right? They're gonna pair this BFF to this super popular Teddy Bear token. They're gonna pump the hell out of Teddy Bear with the BFF, and then people are gonna be like, what the hell is this? What is going on? And try to dig a little bit deeper.
Wow. You know, and now this gives me another theory about that initial pump up with PDI. So I think that pump was artificial. It was just 414 doing its thing. But I think the one thing that they were looking for is to find that one token that everybody loves, so that they can use that to build out liquidity within the Atropa ecosystem. It only makes sense because think about it. We had Poppy, we had Legal, we had CIA. I don't know why that's so funny. He did a CIA token. I know it ended awfully, but it was like the weirdest names. And then Teddy Bear became the big one because B Roots was like, I'm interested in Teddy Bear because it's based off of Richard Hart's Gucci Bear, which I mean it makes sense.
Yeah, and also so like Teddy Bear had like it was like the memeable supply, right? So it had like a quadrillion supply, just like Sheep did. So I think that was kind of like also just another factor to what people related it as, like a big top meme coin, basically.
Right. So maybe what that was to find that one token that everybody loves that sticks around, and then based off that token, basically use that as the face of the ecosystem. Because believe it or not, when you buy a teddy bear, you're actually feeding into the Atropa ecosystem because 15% of that LP is between Atropa. So if you pump bear, it's going to pump Atropa and then all the other tokens. I'm not going to go through every single one. There's like 100 of them. So maybe that's what was happening. And then we introduced BFF, and then it seems like there's going to be 2 other tokens that's going to really build this out. And then now that PulseChain is finally pumping, this is like the missing piece, because here's how this is going to happen. The Sacrifice wallet was pairing up. Well, I know I was going to talk about this in, but I'll talk about it now. We're 30 minutes in. So basically what the Sacrifice wallet was doing was it was taking USDC and DAI, pairing up together. When you create that liquidity pair, you earn fees. And what's powerful behind these stable coins is they barely move in price. So you can just stack up money over time. And so what the SAC wallet was doing was stacking this money up, bridging it from Binance Smart Chain to the PulseChain through that bridge. I think it was through the SparkSwap bridge, or maybe it was some mixer bridge. It doesn't matter. But it was coming onto the PulseChain and then basically just buying up PulseX, and Hex, and really bringing that floor up. That's what was happening. When you bring that floor up and Pulse goes up, so is PDI, so is Atropa, so is the other tokens. So we're in this weird critical time where we're going to see a lot of money flood into PulseChain. I think the Atropa ecosystem is there to absorb it like a sponge, and that's how we're going to get these stable coins to parity.
No, that's definitely a good point. And actually, you know what? I just had a funny thought while you were saying that. So wouldn't it be funny if the Sacrifice wallet and Maria, I mean, they were both pumping tokens at pretty much the same time just the other day?
I did see that too. I wanted to ask you about that.
That's a weird little coincidence that they both chose to pump their own tokens,
Yeah. Here was the crazy thing. So I went in on like HBAR and all these other tokens because everything was pumping. And, me and my boy Adam from Viber Finance, we really look for the thing that's going to explode. And then right when you were talking about stuff, I've been just following your Twitter account just to stay updated because you're always on it, which is awesome. And when you start talking about that, that's when I noticed the same exact thing. You have what's going on with the SAC wallet and also the 4&4 wallet, just absolutely pumping things through. Do you think it's a correlation, or do you think it's a coincidence? Just your opinion.
Hey, my opinion may be unpopular, but I definitely think that they're in cahoots, right? So I think that not much is really going on this deep inside of PulseChain, especially 2 years before launch, right, on testnet. I don't think that like something this large is being slid through without his knowledge.
Yeah, and the other thing was he put out a video about giving people knowledge, and basically it was the video 2 weeks after, and he was talking about how PWBTC has keys and everybody was freaking out. And then I posted on Twitter, I was like, hey, this is a good FUD event to get in PWBTC since everyone's selling. And the crazy part about that was he mentioned that he mentioned SparkSwap, the Binance Smart Chain bridge, but he didn't say SparkSwap specifically, but he mentioned the bridge. But the crazy part about it was he didn't mention PDI, and everybody was talking about it one time. People were spamming it. It was all over the place. Even the maxis were screaming about it. And the funny part about it was 95% of them turned out to be in PDI. I'm not going to expose anybody unless they piss me off, but There's a reason why they call me Khaos Kris. But long story short, his silence says it all. That's the thing. It's just like why don't you say something? Why don't you be like, hey, this is happening, or be careful? And I'm sure you agree with me on this, right?
No, 100%. If he was like, hey, look at this PDI, guys, it looks cool or something. If he just said that, like, I mean, it would just be game over. Like all the wrong people would get in and just be bad, right? We don't want those like old whales to be in this. You know, this is for new whales. Richard's always talked about, you know, out with the old, in with the new. Got to change the hands of who's got the money, right? For things to like progress and not get into like, you know, people get greedy when they get rich, you know, and like people that aren't rich yet. We're not very greedy, right? So like we're here, we can help, you know, we're willing to like put our effort in, you know, we're willing to do a lot more than, you know, these big rich whales.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, me and you, man, we're always for the people, and we're always trying to help out people. And I think there's that special type of energy behind, like, you know, smaller guys that have a pretty okay following, and you know, their intentions, I think, are mostly positive. Not every single person. And I think that's where a lot of these big influencers copycat. And I know you've been copycat before by some people. I'm sure you've seen it. I've been copycat so many times. I'm not getting into that. Not trying to start drama. I already started enough drama today. But
Yeah.
let's move on to something else. Well, my next question with regards to stuff. So we had tsfi, down, legal. These were all fan favorites. Do you see anything going on with these tokens, or are they just been kind of put on the back burner for now?
Yeah, so Maria's given some more instructions, right? So, or like things, at least tips, right? She's given us good tips. So in terms of down, right, the tip was given that pairing up LP with down and Atropa is basically like the same thing as single-sided staking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just wrap your head around that for a second. But yeah, so pairing up. So if you have a bunch of Atropa or if you have a bunch of down, whichever one, you could sell half or whatever of each one and just put those into a liquidity pool. And you'll be just earning fees, right? They run together. They always go together. They're never ever going to go apart. But yeah, you'll basically just be earning fees, not much intermittent loss, if any at all. And yeah, just like as if you were to be like single-sided staking. So that was like the tip that Maria gave for that. Okay. And then in the chat logs, I just remember before this whole BFF craziness, right? She was mentioning that the tokens that were launched just after Atropa, right? So all the main ones, right? PDI, Atropa, tsfi, down, and bear. Those were all like the most safe tokens, right? There was like the least risk, forward facing, and that tsfi was going to be the best for short-term gains out of all those four. So in terms of what's going on and what's happening with tsfi or what's to come for it, not really sure still. But when it's mentioned in the group, it's always mentioned as super safe, best short-term play in terms of like the top 4 Atropa tokens.
Gotcha. It seems like that's probably going to have a run up, and then it's going to get capped at a certain price. Actually, that rolls me into the next question. I really want to get into the idea of hitting that $1 peg. So well, not hypothetically, but the goal is, of course, get the 3 main stable coins to peg. And then I heard some rumors about possibly WBTC hitting parity, but we're not going to get into that. Let's just focus on the peg of these 3 coins. So when we get to a $1 peg, do you have any information about how it's going to maintain that peg, or did anything come to light from talking to Maria?
No. So I haven't read anything in the interviews because I actually haven't even finished reading the whole interview. It's actually quite lengthy.
Gotcha.
But no, so I haven't actually gotten to the point of like understanding how it stays there. But I think that when people maneuver, like, so say if they got a bunch of PDI, right, and they're like, okay, like, do we think those people are going to cash out and just completely exit the ecosystem? Are they done with crypto after they make $1 million in PDI or something? Or is it going to be something where like the Atropa dev is creating something or like a web of things that we can basically put our gains into, right? So if we make money in PDI, you roll it into Atropa or something else where it doesn't really affect the PDI chart very much, right? So there's going to be this super thick liquidity between the two. I think right like 2 weeks ago it was like $3 million in liquidity between Atropa and PDI, and I think now it's like 9 million, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's gone up a freaking ton, and most of this is all burned, right? So like anything that's in there by the 414 is burned. But yeah, it's just really, really crazy to see how it just kind of has shot up like that so recently. And just, yeah, I really have no idea how it'll stay there. I really just see general consensus of people buying it and selling it around $1 that will help that method. But then also, we have these like, PulseX farms that are going to be released at some point, right? We have all these things on the PulseX website that have not even launched yet, right? So like there's all this talk about having, Ink be like a, what is it, like a DAO token, things like this. We're going to be able to vote on new farms that are going to be able to be on PulseX, right? So if there's a farm for PDI on PulseX, that's going to really, really help it peg or keep its like stabilization around $1. If we're all utilizing that method, and then just staying conscious of, okay, this is $1, like this is just what it is. People will trade that in arbitrage that price.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the crazy part about the whole PulseX version 2 farms, because that's been out for what was it, like 6 or 7 months, and we haven't gotten anything about it. No news. It seems like there's like this strategic plan that's being played out right now, especially with PulseX, because if you see what Uniswap is doing, you see what other DEX is, they're basically just innovating like a mother trucker. PulseX has been at a standstill, and I got this feeling that something big's about to get rolled out, just back to back to back to back, and I think we're going to start seeing it happen with the SEC lawsuit. Now, I want to talk to you about this theory that 900 Capital I had. We just got the first fetch Oracle on the PulseChain launched by Liquid Loans, and the main thing behind DAI and a lot of these PRC20s is the reason why some of them are quote unquote broken. I won't say necessarily broken, but they don't have an Oracle that's helping the protocol function. Have you seen any evidence of DAI or PDI adopting a new Oracle, or heard of anything from any of your researchers?
No, not that I have yet. That's just not something that's really come up. I would really like to talk to 9iron more about that, because I'm not too familiar with oracles and like how they work and all that. But yeah, no, just from reading the chat logs and stuff like that, I may have missed it honestly, but just not something that I think I've come across so far.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
But yeah, no, I just wanted to say about PulseX and stuff. I really think that this is all super intentional, right? What did Richard say before PulseChain launched, right? We have 52 weeks to rinse out the weak hands, or 50 weeks, or whatever he said. Like, yeah, of course, like if you have like this DEX with all these cool things coming, right? You're not going to launch those things until you think all the fucking idiots are out of here, right? You don't want to give a golden goose to somebody who's just going to throw it back in your face, right? So, yeah, I think it's all intentional. This is just creating maximum pain for the people who just have no faith in Richard, right? So yeah, they're going to capitulate, and then as soon as they're all gone, he's going to turn that button on, and you're like, all right, guys, here's PulseX. This is what it does, and this is what it was supposed to be, right? Like after 50 weeks, here it is, right?
Yeah, see, I have this theory that he's already created version 3 like a version 3 fork of Uniswap for PulseX, and he's waiting to roll that sucker out. And then Ethereum's going through a major update. I think it's like EIP 414 or something like that.
414.
I think it was. Is it 414 or 444? I don't know, but it blew my mind when I saw the 414, because we always think about that wallet, and that's rolling out, and it's supposedly supposed to like reduce fees and do all this really crazy stuff. And technically, the L1 still has keys to open it up and do like a hard fork to update the network. So I got this theory that he's gonna start rolling that stuff out very, very soon. And then also on top of that, that's when we're going to start to see the PDI Atropa ecosystem kick full scale in, because the one thing that I noticed from this past year is that everyone's been at each other's throats. We've seen the exit of people from the community. We've seen new people come in. And then this past pump was like a faith pump. Everyone still believes, everybody understands what the mission and what the plan is. And I don't want to get too much into how the sack wallet. I'm going to say that for the end. But cool. Now, last question before we get into pulse reflectors, because we need to talk about this project, because promise you we talk about that day. So Since the past summer, PDI and Atropa exploded. Since then, we haven't seen much action in the ecosystem. Do you think something big is going to be brewing in the background, especially for 2024?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I think that, this whole like dysnomia, whatever, like this game layer 2 thing that she's working on right now. I mean, she's constantly in development mode every day. So I do think that whatever it is that's being worked on is going to be launched, within this year for sure. They're working on artistry. She's made mention of like, getting logos and things like this done, starting working on white papers, things like that. So this is all going to be, forward facing. She's made mention of basically front end UIs, basically that people will be able to like see and know what a contract does just by with a click of a button. So things are going to be a lot more safe and forward facing for retail people to come in and enter and play around and use something like on their web browser, basically like a UI that they can interact with and kind of understand more things that are happening.
Wow. Yeah, if we see a white paper, this thing is going to go absolutely nuclear. That is the one thing that's going to send this thing ballistic. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but Maria did promise it, and when that comes out, this is the speculation part, because when it comes out, it's going to be too late to take advantage of the situation. So I think that's where you get the leap of faith in this entire mystery. But hey, man, definitely thank you so much for that breakdown. That was probably the craziest 47-minute breakdown ever. I'm sure people are going to take clips of that, and they're going to be looking at this, and they're like, I thought this thing was dead, but there's so much life behind it. There's something going on with this BFF thing, and after this live stream, I'm definitely going to jump in and really dive into it and talk to you more about it. Now, let's talk about Pulse Reflections, man. Since last time we talked, actually, I think it was right around my live stream, the thing started it went up, but then it just went nuclear, and it's starting to sell it out. So what's some stuff that's been going on with Pulse Reflections, and just give us a breakdown, dude.
Yeah, definitely. So PRS is doing really well, man. I'm super, super proud of the community, honestly. So like, what did we do? We ran up to like 6 million market cap. We were probably one of the highest performing, reward tokens that have launched on PulseChain yet. I think still we've hit, 6 million is that top mark people are still trying to go after. But like, if I try to do the measurement stick, I think we went down to the all-time low, or like at least like the local bottom. That was like 94%. Yeah, so we did a nice dip, right? So right now we're just like at 80% down from the all-time high still. So it's definitely climbing back up, and it looks like obviously with PulseChain doing really well, that's definitely helped a lot in terms of Hart's Law, helping us pull up a bit. But it looks like a lot of the sellers are pretty much exhausted because we haven't seen any red candles in the last 5 days, which is pretty cool. And since we've talked, I don't know if I've talked to you about BTR, the booster token. So the dev actually launched another contract called BTR, and that was kind of just like intended to basically help in add and burn liquidity for PRS. So basically, it works the same in terms of PRS, right? So there's just like a tax, and then in terms of the volume, certain portions of that tax is going to go to automatically add and burn liquidity for BTR and WPLS, and also for PRS and WPLS. So constantly there's like small amounts of liquidity being added and burned into PRS every day. So that's a really cool thing. And this BTR token is going to reward people with PLSX. The PRS token rewards people with PLS, right? And as we all know, PLS, PLSX, those are going to do really, really well, right? Both of those tokens are going to do extraordinarily well. So we want to be able to earn these tokens, right? PLS, PLSX, while we sleep. You want to find some kind of way to acquire these tokens without having to do anything, right? And so PRS and BTR, they do this for you. Literally, I mean, I've been in it since day one. Obviously, I was one of the people that found PRS right when it launched. But I've held the whole time, right? So that's the thing about these types of tokens. So like, these things aren't for trading usually. Like, I mean, unless you're a really good trader and you think you can get more by doing that, then good luck to you, right? But like, I bought it and I held it, right? And I continue to buy more actually, because I saw how rewarding it was. But like, I've gotten PRS all the way up and all the way down, right? There's never a moment where I'm not earning PLS. And so the real value here is just to earn as much as you can and then let PLS do its thing, right? Let PLS do its 100x or 1000x or whatever it has in it, right? Whatever it's going to do. But then also with Hart's Law, PRS and BTR, those are also going to appreciate with PLS, right? So you're not just buying into one token that's going to go up and then do its thing, and then you sell it and then you leave and go into something else. Like you can hold something, it's going to earn you something else. That's going to make gains. You can buy something else with those other gains. You can still sell your PRS if you want to. It doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, like, it's really, really valuable to hold something that's going to reward you with something else that's really valuable too.
That's so cool, man. I love that. And it's crazy to see how these tokens are doing well. Everyone's got a bad taste in their mouth from SafeMoon, but in reality, SafeMoon was just a what was it? That there's a backdoor access to the liquidity pool, and that PRS run up was crazy. It absolutely blew people's minds, and now that it's stabilizing out and we're starting to get another leg up, awesome. And the one thing I love about the Better token is it's using this Atropa concept, but bringing it into the PRS world, and I'm seeing a lot more projects use this approach. I think you guys kept it very simplistic, and definitely works. And I'm, believe it or not, I've been in this thing for a minute and just been earning a really good amount of PulseX, and I've been seeing the volume's been going up, and it's really great. Now, as for PRS, how many tokens have been burned? Have you since last time you checked, was it like 9%?
It's right up there. Let me see. I'm just gonna check the website really quickly. So right now it says almost 140 billion tokens have been burned. So let's see. That's getting close to 10%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Really. Yeah. It's definitely over 9% for sure. And what I was going to say about the BTR token, right? Because you did mention that, like, this whole, like, liquidity bonding and things like that, like Atropa. The cool thing about BTR, and actually what makes it a bit different than PRS, is that with PRS, we're actually only earning rewards from one liquidity pool. That's why we just have that one thick liquidity pool right now with PLS. But with BTR, the holders of BTR are actually earning rewards in PLSX from all of the different liquidity pools that we have, right? And so I've set up liquidity pools with Bear, with tsfi, with WBTC. I think there's one with PLSX, there's one with PLS, there's one with PRS. So there's a ton of different liquidity pools for a lot of arbitrage to be happening in. And the holders are going to be earning rewards from all of those pools, not just the one. And also, if you're a person that likes to provide liquidity, you can actually provide liquidity between BTR and PLS in the V2 pair, and you're actually going to be earning your PulseX rewards as if you were just holding it, and you're going to be earning those LP fees as well.
That's awesome. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a very innovative approach, man. And we definitely see it reflect in the chart, and I think PRS and BTR's best days have yet to come, and I'm excited to see how you guys perform the bull market. So, last thing, anything like roadmap, anything coming down the road to expect, or anything you want to reveal, or some stuff you just want to keep on the side for now?
So in terms of PRS, there's not much more that needs to happen with the token, right? So I'm going to be pumping the PRS community's bags pretty soon. When BTR gets to 8K, I'm going to be adding that liquidity, and I'm going to pump the hell out of PRS. I'm just letting you guys know that right now. But yeah, so that's going to happen, right? We are going to see another big run up for PRS and for BTR. I don't have much BTR, right? So I have a lot more PRS than I do have BTR, and I definitely am going to be putting the BFF token on PRS and BTR both. So yeah, not much in terms of roadmap. The coins are out, they're immutable, trustless yield. There's nothing anybody can do to stop you from earning. Nobody can rug the token. I have the most PRS out of anybody. I don't think anybody has more than I do. And I'm not going to be selling any of them. So that's what I'm doing for the community there. But besides that, on the Atropa roadmap, I don't see anything more than just like this whole Dysnomia layer 2 that's going to be launching sometime this year. Hopefully, we'll hopefully get another thing I don't think I mentioned today was the liquidity. So Maria was talking about something that she wanted to make that basically was like a front end for people that provide liquidity, right? So it's going to show you in great detail, like all your liquidity positions and things like this, like in a really like easy to understand way. So I'm really looking forward to that, because I have been provided liquidity with different things, and it's definitely hard to keep track of like your positions, right? And so how much is changing and things like that. It's like not really easy to do yet, and I think that's one of her most important goals.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with, and DBank isn't so great with PulseChain. They're just adding like PRC20s now, so but having a front end and something to track this stuff, something that's user friendly, and maybe there's someone who's a developer that can create a cool front end for the community. I'm not really sure, but I do think that there's still something here. I do think that not many people are talking about, and I do think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard, because the BFF thing caught me off guard, and now it's on my radar. And when it gets on my radar, that's when you start to see like a level, like people that are a little bit bigger than me, it's going to get on their radar, and then it's just going to climb all the way up the ladder like it did last time. And so I think we're about to see something big happen. I really do. My gut's telling me, based on the conversation we had, and I'm just excited, man. You know, having this PDI run up 2.0. Last time was crazy. I think this time is going to be absolutely nuclear. You know what I'm saying?
It's going past where it was last time. That's for sure. I mean, it's like we're going to see like a penny happen, then we're going to see 2 pennies, and then people are just going to lose their mind. We're going to get to 10 cents, and then it's just like, then there's just going to be once we're at 10 cents, it's like no question about it. It's like, okay, we need a 10x to $1. Like that's just going to be like some whale's going to put in like $10 million and just be like, bloop, like there we are.
You know, when the white paper or dysnomia, the layer 2 rolls out, man, we gotta have an emergency live stream and talk about that.
Yeah, 100% we will. Yeah, no, honestly, we got to get 9 Iron on here. We got to get Benoit. There's a bunch of guys that I think that we could do like maybe a 4-person stream, and I think that it'd be really cool.
Yeah. If we do, I can be like the host and just what's it called, and make sure that I can basically what's the word I'm saying, be the person that navigates the stream and asks people questions, make sure nothing gets chaotic, and then you guys can come on and give the information. Sorry, that was a terrible explanation.
Are you referencing the Hex stream from the other day?
dude, that Hex stream was so crazy. I'll put you on the spot, but like,
it's fun. No, they needed a referee.
Oh yeah, referee. Yeah, basically, yeah. Like I don't even know what was going on, dude. I watched about 5 minutes of it, and then I turned it off. And I was like, why did I even waste my time watching this?
I couldn't.
But
yeah.
But
it's funny.
I think the PDI community is probably one of the strongest communities on PulseChain.
100%.
Yeah. No, you got everyone's cool, man. Like you, Holonomics, there's no drama, and then you got like Tangang, and then you got the Toxic Maxis, and then you got the PulseChain Bros, Liquid Loans, and that fraternity of morons. So it's like a very weird dynamic, and I love our little PDI Atropa clan. Like everybody's cool, and we can look at other projects. Nobody hates each other. So
right, we're a big dysfunctional family, is all I'd like to say.
Yeah, we definitely need to have like some sort of meetup when this is all said and done. Like I firmly believe that we're gonna see another pump up. And if this thing hits $1, dude, this is going to be one of the craziest stories ever. I can't imagine what they put up there.
Here's the little alpha, right, for the future. So if PDI hits to $1, right, or if I make a bunch of money, right, so I think I will, right. I want to open up a crypto like coffee bar lounge in Thailand, like something for like people that are like digital nomads like myself can come and like have it be like a pulse bar. Like something where people in crypto are going to be like, yeah, that's the spot like that I want to travel to, because like I'm a crypto person, so like that's like the hub. Like I want to go to that place. That's where like the crypto people hang out in Thailand. So I think I want to try to do something like that if I end up making some money.
Dude, I hope you do, dude. And when you get it established,
I got the idea from one of the Hexkins that are here. He's like, I met up with this dude at the beach. He's into Hex and stuff like that. I got him into BFF. He's all super excited, and he's like, dude, if we get rich, man, we're gonna open up a bar here. I'm like, bro, you're right. We're doing that for sure. That's a great idea. So yeah, look for the Pulse Bar in Thailand coming 2025.
Dude, if you do that, we gotta have a huge meetup. You know, the PDI OGs, and we can bring on some of the cool Pulse guys, and we'll just sit there, have a drink, and talk about this crazy story, man. So,
Hell yeah.
but yeah, man, I won't take up too much of your time, dude. You know, thank you for coming on. I think this was a really great interview, and I really do think a lot of people are going to be looking at this in a week when they see what's going on with BFF, and then something in my gut says it's going to happen, and if it doesn't, then I always admit when I'm wrong. But I do think you've been on it for a minute, and there's a reason you've been on it, and I think you're ahead of the game. So hey, shout out to you, man, and thanks for all the stuff you do for the PRS community. Thanks for all the stuff you do for the bear community, and hope you enjoy your time in Thailand, man. I'm jealous, dude. I mean, that's pretty sick.
So we gotta get you out here, man. I'm about to head to the beach soon, but yeah, no, I appreciate you very much. Kris, you're an awesome guy, man. I just want to say that. I hope you don't get too much hate in anything online, man, because you're a really good dude.
Appreciate that, man. I appreciate that a lot, man. So cool, guys. Well, hey, I got all Zach's stuff down in the description. You know, please check him out on Twitter, give him support, you know, look into some stuff he's talking about. This guy's been on it since, you know, a lot of people stopped really paying attention, but Zach's been on it. And if you want any more information about the Atropa ecosystem, this is your go-to guy, because he'll connect you to the right kind of people. But definitely, you gotta bring you back on, man. And until next time. So,
all right,
and like
see you guys,
and like and subscribe and all that good stuff, guys. So